Hey guys, it's Paradise, and today we're diving into something really special. We got to go hands-on with Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles at a limited preview event, and honestly, this feels like the best time to finally jump into Tactics. A huge thank you to Square Enix for inviting us out to play, and while all the gameplay you see here is provided B-roll, I'm excited to break down exactly what we saw, what we played, and why this remaster has us kinda hyped. Now, we have always been big Final Fantasy fans. 10 is my personal favorite, 7 is 2 6s, but we never really got a proper chance to play the original Tactics. That said, we've always loved strategy RPGs like Fire Emblem, so this remaster might be the perfect entry point. So first up, if you've never played Tactics or haven't been following this remaster, you might be wondering, what is the Ivalice Chronicles? Well, it's essentially a full remaster of the original Final Fantasy Tactics, bringing back the classic tactical RPG but to the modern day. You're getting the original story and mechanics, but with enhancements fully across the board. Full voice acting for characters and cutscenes, improved visuals, remastered music, lots of quality of life updates, and the ability to switch between enhanced and classic modes if you want that original feel or the new version. The original script has also been enhanced and updated for this remaster, so it's not just voiced but also improved. So the dialogue is a bit more modern while still staying faithful to the original writing. The UI has also been rebuilt, making menus cleaner and easier to navigate, and everything just feels far more polished. The visuals are sharper, the text boxes are now animated, and with the voice acting, while a little hit or miss in some spots, does make a huge difference in bringing these characters to life. Plus, I love how they mostly talk in ye olde terms. It is very fun.
Remember, you represent the Academy itself. Noble or otherwise, your actions reflect upon us all. Fight with honor and trust in your steel.
But more importantly, you've got over 20 jobs and more than 300 abilities to experiment with, which is why this game has so much replayability and depth. It's partly why the original is a classic title for so many. So let's talk about what we got to play. At the preview, there was access to 2 missions. The first was a shorter tutorial mission that taught the basics, so things like moving across the grid, attack ranges, and some of the quirks of the combat system. But one thing that stood out right away when we went diving into the menus was how many things there are to explore. There's an encyclopedia packed with lore about characters, the places, and terms, which really adds some depth for any loreheads out there. There's even a really cool feature, the State of the Realm, which reminded us of Final Fantasy XVI's active time lore system. In State of the Realm, it tracks key events, how the world is changing as the story unfolds, and even logs characters' deaths, so you can use this to fully get a grasp of how the world and story is evolving. Then you have the events page with the ability to replay past cutscenes, dive into tutorials and lessons. There's just so many things to explore. It's this kind of thing that makes the game much more approachable without dumbing it down, and I just know that longtime fans should really appreciate this, even though it's mainly menus and text that you read. We also got to explore the job system in our own gameplay, which looks super deep. You could freely swap jobs, each character have their own unique abilities, and there's optimization options that auto-equipped gear when changing roles. The job system is absolutely awesome. There's geomancers that can use terrain against enemies, there's time mages to manipulate turn order, orators to sway other units, and of course you've got other staples of the series in there too. It's one of those systems where you can truly experiment, grind, and make something tailored to your style, or just the situation at hand, given that enemies have their own jobs too. Also, yes, the game does keep the classic Tactics DNA. That includes those heartbreaking moments, like when you miss a 90% hit chance. I literally had this happen to me in the demo. It feels bad in all the right ways. Then came the highlight, the battle at Zeirchele Falls against Gaffarion. This is one of the iconic encounters from the original, and it's been faithfully recreated here. Before the fight, you set up your squad's positioning, including allies. In our case, it was Boko the Chocobo, although sadly they didn't use him in the B-roll. In this gameplay though, we can see Ramza as a squire, Kane a chemist, Eleanor a knight, and a black mage. The B-roll even shows off their full gear setup during deployment, which was really cool to see. The combat here really shows the depth of the game's systems. Spells can target across multiple tiles of distance, so your placement is quite key there. The number next to each character shows their turn order, although the turn bar actually runs in the opposite direction that you might expect if you played other similar titles. High ground and positioning matter a lot for your damage and hit chance. Every action that you do will also display its percentage of chance to hit, which streamlines and adds that extra tension to your decisions. And at the end, there's a contribution screen that highlights which units performed the best in battle. The press kit for the game itself also confirms a fast forward option that will be available in full release, even though we didn't see it in the build we played. So this will be a great addition for anyone who wants to speed up repeated fights, and of course you still get those cool dramatic pop-ups when betrayals or big story moments hit during the fights. There's even an auto battle system if you want to let the AI take control, and the ability to save different combat loadouts so you can easily swap setups between jobs. All in all, this remaster is feeling like the definitive way to play Final Fantasy Tactics, at least from the single mission that we got to play. The improvements to the visuals, the audio, the menus being packed with lore and quality of life features, and the job system depth as a whole, plus the fully voice-acted story cutscenes altogether, make the whole game much more approachable while still staying true to the original. Square Enix has also confirmed that both the enhanced and the classic versions are included in this, so you could play the enhanced version with the modernized UI, the voice acting, the quality of life features, and more, or if you want a more faithful original 1997 experience with the War of the Lions translation, then you can play that here too. So whether you're a long-time fan or like me, someone who really wants to experience Tactics properly for the first time, but missed out in the past, then the Ivalice Chronicles looks like the perfect opportunity. So that's our first look at Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. I absolutely had a blast going hands-on with this, and I can't wait to see the full game when it launches. But what do you guys think? Do you still play the original, or are you planning to save yourself to jump into the remaster? Drop it down below and tell us what you're thinking so far. And make sure you're subscribed for more Final Fantasy coverage coming your way soon, because you know we've got you. Here at Arix Gaming, we're two friends who love to play games. You have me, Paradise, as well as 26.
Our goal is to keep the videos as concise as possible by cutting out any of the fluff and focusing on what really matters with high quality videos.
So make sure you're subscribed down below for more videos on your favorite games coming very, very soon.